Hi, my name is Pat, and this is my channel, Book Chat with Pat, and I'm glad that you're here. Today I'm going to be doing the Rock On Celtic Songs book tag. This is an original tag that was created by my friend Nicole at Nicole's Bookish Nook. Nicole is hosting a Celtophile reading event this month, and she created this tag to go along with the events of the entire month. And it's not just a St. Patrick's Day tag. It goes for this tag just fits into the Celtophile reading event, which is taking place throughout the month. I was tagged by Nicole, and I was also tagged by Stuart Griffin. So thank you, Nicole, and thank you, Stuart. Nicole said in her video, here's my original book tag involving rock songs and Celtic songs as bookish prompts. So here we go. Number 1, Drunken Lullabies by Flogging Molly, a book involving a celebration that you enjoyed. For that, I have chosen an Irish author, Ronan Hession, and his book, Leonard and Hungry Paul. There is a big wedding celebration in this book. The whole novel builds toward this wedding celebration, and a whole bunch of important things happen at that party. Number 2, The Parting Glass by Ed Sheeran, a book that left you feeling bittersweet because it ended. I've read this book twice, and each time I wept at the end, and I didn't want to leave the world of this book. And that is Shelby Van Pelt's Remarkably Bright Creatures. I read it when it first came out, and I just read it recently this year with my book group, and we all loved it, and we all had the same feeling about not wanting it to end. And it ends on an uplifting note, but you know, it's just a book you don't want to end. Number 3, Rebel Yell by Billy Idol, a book you read because someone told you not to read it. Well, for that, I'm going to go with one of the books, I guess 2 of the books really, that we read for the I'm with the Band book group, and that these are the Sarah J. Maas books, the ACOTAR books, the A Court of Thorns and Roses, and the other one, the second one, A Mist of something. I'm not sure what it was called. I couldn't get through the second one. But anyway, we were reading these books. These were totally outside of my normal reading, but we were reading these because Sarah J. Maas has been banned in so many places and attacked, by the entire state of Utah, and so we read. We read ACOTAR. We read the first one a couple of months ago in the I'm with the Band book club, and then a couple months later the group read the second one as well, which I did not complete. I don't have them to show. I gave them away. Number 4, Starman by David Bowie, a sci-fi book about aliens. Well, I just finished this one for the Robert A. Heinlein reading group, and this is The Star Beast. And that beast on the cover is an alien. And we were supposed to have a live stream on this last week, but it had to be postponed. So we're going to be talking about this in the very near future. Number 5, Shipping Up to Boston by Dropkick Murphys, a fiction or nonfiction book set in or around Boston, Mass. Well, fiction, I have the most recent Claudia Pinheiro book that we've read. This is the last one, A Little Luck. And while most of her books take place in and around Buenos Aires, Argentina, this one actually starts in Boston. The main character has left Argentina and has resettled in Boston, and then she comes back to Argentina, and then she goes back to Boston again. So this is actually a Pinheiro book that, at least in part, takes place in Boston. And then the other one, this is nonfiction that I've talked about a great deal, is Tracy Kidder's Rough Sleepers. And this is about Dr. Jim O'Connell, a physician, taking care of the rough sleepers, or the homeless population of the city of Boston. Number 6, The Bonnie Banks of Lochlomond, a book that's centered around nature. For that, I'm going with Richard Powers' The Overstory. And this is a book about activism. It's a book about a population that is trying to preserve trees that are being being attacked. And the whole book, or most of the book, takes place actually in trees. Number 7, Two Recruitin Sergeants by Seamus Kennedy, fiction or nonfiction book about war. For that, I'm going to go with our own Brian Bruce's book. Brian, this is The Bookish Texan. This is his book that he published last year, MacArthur's Bloody Butchers, Company G, 163rd Infantry Regiment in the Pacific War. And it is a military history book. It is about World War II, and it focuses specifically on this one company, this one infantry company, and tells the stories really of 4 men in particular, one of whom is Brian's uncle. Number 8, Molly Malone by the Dubliners, a book with a badass female main character. For that, I am going with Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter. Hester Prynne is a woman of unimaginable strength. At the beginning of the novel, she is suffering horrific humiliation because she has given birth to a child outside of her marriage, and she is publicly humiliated and humiliated really for the rest of her life, because she's made to wear a scarlet letter A on her on everything that she wears, to show that she is an adulteress, while the man that got her pregnant seems to go scot-free. Of course, he doesn't, because guilt is tearing at his soul as well. But Hester bears the brunt of society's condemnation all by herself, and she shows just incredible fortitude throughout the course of the novel. Number 9, An Irish Pub Song by the Rumjacks, a book that is misunderstood. For that, I am going with J.D. Salinger's The Catcher in the Rye, one of my favorite novels, a novel I look for ways to bring into my videos, but I have learned from hearing enough people talk about this book that it is a horribly misunderstood novel. I made a video on how I love to teach this book, and one of the things I talked about was the number of people I've heard talking about this book who completely misunderstand that Holden is telling the story from a mental hospital, because he's had a complete breakdown. And we're told that on the first page of the novel, and many, many people miss that, and they misunderstand Holden, and they say really mean and cruel things about him, and I just think they didn't get it. They misunderstood something really, really important about the book, and I wish they had been in my class, because they wouldn't have misunderstood this basic fact about, he's really a young man who's suffering from horrific depression and really pathological grief over the loss of his brother. And he's telling this story not because he's a spoiled brat. He's telling this story from a psychiatric hospital. So I think this is a novel that a lot of people have misunderstood. Okay, number 10, tag people. Well, if you're watching this video and you would like to do this, this is really fun. You are tagged, and as I always do, I'm going to tag some people in the notes below. So great tag, Nicole, and thank you, Nicole and Stuart, for tagging me. So as always, I thank you for watching. I hope that you're doing well. I'll speak with you again soon. Take care.